Good morning, friends. Today's topic is Amazing Teacher. Today is the birthday of Swami Yogananda, a direct disciple of Sri Ramakrishna. Auspicious day. And I thought of remembering Sri Ramakrishna as the teacher. We know what the teacher is, what is the qualities of good teacher. So to look at the qualities of a good teacher is that first is he should have command over the subject. What he is to impart, what he is to teach, he should have command. Very strong knowledge. Second is he should be effective communicator to impart that knowledge. I may know a great deal, but how much I can transmit that to others, how can I encourage that? Another quality is encouragement for students to know by way of asking questions. If they start understanding something, they will be asking questions. Sri Krishna says in the Gita that how can one learn from the teacher the knowledge? Knowledge, of course, is spiritual knowledge. Sri Krishna says, approach the teacher with humility, serve him or her, and ask questions. Pariprasnena. Asking question, if you encourage the student to ask question, it means he or she is getting the subject you are teaching and wants to know more. Another quality is the good teacher encourages cooperation among the students themselves. Good teacher also makes the lessons very joyful. It's not only duty of a student to go and learn something, but the process of learning itself becomes very joyful. They feel like going to the class and taking the lessons from that teacher. A good teacher will have deep respect for students. He will have respect for the ability of students to attain the knowledge that he is going to give. Otherwise there will be no relation. And good teacher will understand the needs of problems of every student, needs and problems of every student, individually. What this student needs, why this another student is lacking. So these are the qualities of a good teacher. Here we are talking about an amazing teacher, the best teacher. One of his disciples wrote about Swami Sri Ramakrishna, Acharyanam Mahacharyo. Among the teachers, he's a great teacher. And with reference to Swami Yogananda and Sri Ramakrishna's interaction. Sri Ramakrishna was in fact, as his parable said about the Uttam Vaidya, the best doctor, an amazing doctor, he said about. He said there are three types of doctors. One, he said, patient go to the doctor prescribes some medicine, some pills, some treatment. After that, they don't take any care of the patient. They don't even ask how the patient is. The duty is finished. Patient came, I prescribed, no connection anymore. He is a doctor. He may be a good doctor, he may give medicine, but he is not concerned about the after effect of the medicine to the patient. The second grade, this is called inferior grade of doctor. The mediocre doctor is, he prescribes the medicine and now and then he calls him, or whenever he meets us, how are you doing? Are you keeping well? Has the medicine been effective to you? So little concern is there that what he prescribed is working on the patient. And this is mediocre. And what is the best doctor? Best doctor, Sri Ramakrishna says, doctor has prescribed some medicine and it was a bitter medicine and the patient doesn't want to take that, it's very bitter. Then what he does? You have to take that medicine. Patient says, it's very bitter, I can't take. What do you mean? You have to get well. Then he will force the patient to take the medicine. Sri Ramakrishna's language, he says, what he will do? He will put that patient flat on the ground, sit on his chest, open the mouth forcefully, pour the medicine into his mouth. So this, according to Sri Ramakrishna, is the best doctor, Uttam Vaidya. So he will see that medicine works in the patient and patient is cured of his disease. His concern is the well-being of the patient. And he can go to any extent to do that. He loves the patient, he loves his responsibility. That is Sri Ramakrishna. He knows how to teach student. He knows how to make the student most able, most exposed and most utilize what he is teaching. And he will not stop any length to go to that. Let us see some examples. Swami Turiyananda came to Sri Ramakrishna and he was a pious young man, given to the study of Vedanta, living a very devotional religious life, was fighting within himself and wanted to root out the trace of lust from his mind. As a young man, and he asked Sri Ramakrishna, how can this lust be totally rooted out? Sri Ramakrishna said, and he was in such a way, he was fascinated to root out the thirst. He started disregarding the people of opposite sex. Women, he started hating women, not even seeing them, just to keep himself pure and so that lust is totally eradicated. When he said this to Sri Ramakrishna said, no boy, no dear, that's not the way to root out the lust. You should not hate women. Women are the embodiment of Divine Mother. To root out the lust, what is lust? He said, lust is the great desire to get something. There can be lust for wealth, there can be lust for anything, any enjoyment can be lust. So lust is the great desire to get something. Turn that desire. Turn the desire towards God. So have lust for the vision of God. Instead of having lust for the enjoyment of the world or lust for the wealth, lust for the name and fame, have lust for the vision of God. And treat every woman as your mother. And respect every woman. No hatred, no neglect, but deep respect towards every woman as your own mother. Lust will just go away. Wonderful teaching. Swami Yogananda also comes and says how that lust can be removed. Yogananda was a very soft-hearted person, and to him he said, take the name of God. He didn't say all these things, remove and see the woman as a mother. He didn't have to say that. He said, repeat the name of God. Yogananda heard this very simple. Lust is very deep-rooted in the human mind. Only this can do. He didn't believe Sri Ramakrishna. And one day he had gone to one yogic exercise, one Hatha Yogi, and he was teaching something to conquer the flesh and all those things. Sri Ramakrishna saw Yogananda there. He took his hand, brought him to his room and said, why are you there? He said, I wanted to practice to get rid of lust. I told you lust can be got rid of by repeating the name only. And there you go, that is not for you. That is for other people who want to have flexible body, who want to have good health. For them, this Hatha Yoga is good. For you, more of mental practice. Those who want longer life. Incidentally, Swami Yogananda had very short life. He discouraged him to practice Hatha Yoga because practicing that there is a chance you concentrate more on your body and body well-being than your mind and spirit. First, Yogananda thought that Sri Ramakrishna doesn't want his disciple to go away. He is afraid that his disciple will go away to someone. But later thought, when he said, let me repeat the name of God. And after repeating the name of God, he found really just repeating the name of God, the japam makes one more pure and gets rid of all this strong desire for anything. So it was very effective. Yogananda proved in his life. How differently Sri Ramakrishna, such an adept teacher, he knew how to teach every student, every case. I related that story that when Swami Niranjanananda was coming to Virulmat in a boat crossing the Ganga, someone said about Sri Ramakrishna that, oh, he pretends, he lives a good life and just makes the head of people, the young boys turn. So he always talked about serving, about seeking God, about doing spiritual practice. And they said he pretends he lives in a very cozy bed and sleeps very nicely at night, have very nice food from the temple, and that's a pretense to be a very holy man. Swami Niranjanananda was a very robust person. He saw his guru being disrespected, insulted. He was very angry. He said, one more word from you, I am going to sink this boat. And he stood up, started rocking the boat. Why are you insulting my guru? You know Sri Ramakrishna is my guru. How much you know him? You don't know him at all, and you are saying all sorts of words to him. One more word, boat will sink. And he started really rocking the boat. People are all afraid. And when Swami Niranjanananda came and related this story to Sri Ramakrishna said, what have you done? There were so many people in the boat, some didn't understand me and were saying some words. Those are mere words of ignorant people, and for that you are going to drown the whole boat, and with that whole people would be killed. Anger to this degree is not good, my dear. You should be patient. Patience is great virtue. That he taught to Niranjanananda. Similar incident happened when Yogananda came. And Niranjanananda was very robust, very strong person. In later life also, he was asked not to let anyone go into Sri Ramakrishna's room, and Sri Ramakrishna was sick. He would not allow anyone to enter there. Very strong personality. Yogananda was very kind-hearted, very soft. He was also coming, another set of people started saying. People say bad things to even good people. There are many people, and it's not few. So it happens in every age. They also started saying ill about Sri Ramakrishna. But Yogananda had not heard this story of Niranjanananda. But still he was so quiet, felt bad in himself, but didn't utter a single word, but felt very bad. Came to Sri Ramakrishna, was very sad. Sri Ramakrishna asked, what happened? I was coming, people were saying all ill against you, I felt so bad. I felt very bad to hear this thing. Then what did you say, Sri Ramakrishna? No, I didn't say anything, they were just ignorant people. What did you do that? Shastras say if someone said ill against a teacher, you should give strongest punishment to those people. And you didn't even utter a word in protest of what they were saying. It was not right of you. You should have protested that. You should have told them, tried to correct them. This was another way of teaching. Two typically and very different way of advice to different students. But it was necessary according to the temperament of the student. That's how treating each student individually as the temperament of the student. When Yam comes, Mahendranath Gupta, the recorder of Gospel, and wants to renounce the world. He was tired of the world, had love for God growing, and he had wife and children and father. But the love of God was so great that he thought, I should give up the connection with the family and the society and lead the life of a monk. He comes to Sri Ramakrishna. Sri Ramakrishna says, no, you cannot renounce, you should not renounce. Be devoted to God, pray to Him, but be in the world, serve your wife and children and perform your duty in the school as you are doing. Girish Ghosh also once said, I want to stop writing this drama and performing dramatic acts. Sri Ramakrishna said, no, you should go on doing that. By that people are benefited. So to Yam he said, you should not renounce. Once Narendranath was in a dilemma. He had got a problem in her house. He was the eldest son. Father had died. And there was no one earning. He was the only son. And his sisters and brothers and mother was dependent on his earning. But he had great yearning for God burning in his heart. So he was in dilemma whether he should give up everything and go in search of God, become a monk, or look after his family. So he comes to Sri Ramakrishna and says, to realize God, is renunciation necessary? Sri Ramakrishna says, yes, renunciation is necessary, it is essential. How can you reach one thing without giving up other? How can you reach God without giving up one? Two different advices to different people. Swami Vivekananda had different role to perform in the world. Yam had different role to perform in the world. Both were doing good to the world. And Sri Ramakrishna, as an amazing teacher, had different sets of advice, different set of teaching for these two disciples. He always tried to raise the student where he is. Girish Ghosh was a drunkard. And Sri Ramakrishna never said to him, give up drinking. It is non-spiritual. Never said to him. He knew drinking was not good for spiritual practice. It deranges the mind, and he was really addicted to drinking. Not like taking alcohol like that. He was addicted and he was a drunkard. Why didn't he say? Because he knew if he said, don't drink from tomorrow, Girish Ghosh would never come to him. He was obsessed with drinking. It was addiction to him. Instead of that, what he did, he just said one thing. Before drinking alcohol, can you offer it to God? Because you should take everything by offering to God. Just that much connection with God was made with the drinking. So, he started doing that. And slowly, this drinking became less and God became more in his life. And ultimately in his life, he totally stopped drinking, led a very saintly life, was transformed totally. That bohemian and all that person who said, there is nothing sin that I have not committed in a life, he became a very holy person. Sri Ramakrishna's way of teaching. What to be taught to one person, just in that way. That amazing teacher was Sri Ramakrishna. There was one very good actress, Nati Vinodini. She felt herself to be very impure. And Sri Ramakrishna could accept anyone. He had come to purify even the fallen people, even who are of not good character. He had to raise every humanity to God, to make everyone pure, to say that man is divine. Purity is in his or her innate nature, intrinsic nature. Impurity, the fault, the defect, the sin, all are external covering which can be removed. He goes to Vinodini, blesses her. She felt so great that this great holy man come to me and bless me. There is possibility in me. And she really becomes transformed in her later life. Gets prestige and gets self-confidence. I can become pure. I can get God in my life. I can transform my life. I have not gone case. That type of faith he could impart in the people whoever came in touch with him or whoever he came in touch with others. Sri Ramakrishna was such a great teacher. He could impart knowledge not by just talking. So powerful teacher he was. Just Swami Vivekananda said he could do it just by touch, or just by look, or even just by wish. mere wish could transform another person's character. He could change the character of the person. So such a great, powerful teacher was Sri Ramakrishna. Keshav Sen had started new reformation in Hinduism and totally was going against the traditional Sanatana Dharma. Sri Ramakrishna saw Keshav Sen as a great devotee of God, real, genuine devotee of God, and who loves God, but with his limited mind is finding everything in Sanatana Dharma, the traditional Hindu religion, is defective. Then he started teaching him. And he found Sri Ramakrishna to be a great teacher, wrote an article to him, and he said, and later on, how much he was transformed? He touched the feet of Sri Ramakrishna, started singing the glory of Mother, worshipped Sri Ramakrishna's feet, accepted him as teacher, though Keshav Sen was the teacher of so many people. He was the leader of big religious group that he has formed. But he accepted Sri Ramakrishna as a great teacher, and his life was transformed through the touch of Sri Ramakrishna. Sri Ramakrishna's first student was Holy Mother. So, what did he do to Holy Mother? How did he teach? What did he teach? To Holy Mother he taught everything. From mundane how to cook, how to put the wick in a lamp, oil lamp, small things, how to get into the boat. Like those things he taught, and what he did, and he wanted Holy Mother, was a great divine power was there. Wanted to Holy Mother's great divine power to just come out. And for that what he did? He did Shodashi Puja. And said, Mother, he invited the invocation of Divine Mother, and said, Mother, please make this body and mind your instrument and manifest through this body and mind. And by that, Holy Mother was transformed into Divine Mother. Sarada Devi was transformed into Divine Mother. This was a great act of this teacher who could just see the potentiality of a person and fully make him or her manifest that potentiality. Swami Vivekananda said, I want to enjoy the bliss of God. Want to be Nirvikalpa Samadhi. Give up my ego, my I-ness, and immerse in the thought of Brahman. Immerse, become one with God. No I, only God. Forget everything. Forget the world. Forget universe. Forget relative. Forget even your own body. Forget your life. To that disciple, this spiritual teacher says, no, that is not your way. You have to become like a big banyan tree. People will come to you, have to become a world teacher. Noren Shikhe Debe, he wrote. Noren will teach when he will give a call at home and abroad. That was Sri Ramakrishna teaching. And that, his wish, is make him prepared for the teaching work, and Swami Vivekananda became world teacher. Holy Mother's divinity and Divine Mother was fully manifest by Sri Ramakrishna. Swami Vivekananda's the potentiality as a world teacher was fully manifest by the act of Sri Ramakrishna. He could just mold these people and prepare them to manifest their own innate and their own potent capacity. As it is today is Swami Yoganandaji's birthday, let us see what the relation between Yoganandaji and Sri Ramakrishna was. Yoganandaji was devoted to God, but something happened in the family and her mother pressurized her to get married. So he got married, and after he got married, he couldn't come to Sri Ramakrishna. Felt bad that I got married, I was thought to be searching God, giving up everything without attachment to everything, but I fell in the trap. He felt ashamed to see Sri Ramakrishna after marriage. And Sri Ramakrishna called him, asked someone to come, but he never came. He was so ashamed. Then once Sri Ramakrishna, he was not coming, Sri Ramakrishna sent a message that, Jogin, he was a pre-monastic member, Jogin. Jogin had taken some money from the temple, but he didn't give the accounts, how much he spent and how much he had to return. He didn't give that. Can you tell me? And Jogin Maharaj was a rich man's son. A little money had taken, somehow he had taken from something, he would give given that thing. Hearing this, he became very angry with Sri Ramakrishna. Today I will go and give up his money. What he has thought to me? Am I a cheat? That little money I will bring and I will not return. I would have given that. I will go and after that I will have no connection with this holy man or whatever man he is. He thinks me so low. He went to Sri Ramakrishna, full of anger. Sri Ramakrishna says, "Oh, why are you worried? Why are you worried of getting married?" Just he started talking like that. No talk of money at all. If you have a grace of this, means his own blessing, even 100 marriages cannot affect your spiritual practice. It will have no harm on your spirituality. Why are you afraid to that? He was assured. And he didn't talk about the money at all. Then this coming and going started. Once Sri Ramakrishna was in his room and Yogananda was sleeping night there. Suddenly he wakes up at night and finds Sri Ramakrishna not there. Then he says, where he might have gone at this hour of night? Then suddenly the doubt came to him. Oh, has he gone to his wife who lives nearby in the Nahabat? Then he finds that he had not gone to the pine grove we generally used to go. His water pot was there. So doubt came. He must have gone to his wife at night, always preaching of spirituality and celebration, all that. Oh, he himself is like that. So he went there in the Nahabat and started watching there at dead of night. His own sleep was gone, full of doubt in the mind. That Sri Ramakrishna is not really a person as he seems to be. He says one thing and does one thing. He's a hypocrite. That type of thought it must be going. When doubt enters a person, it just rolls on. Doubt is such a thing. And becomes bigger and bigger, and you doubt makes you convinced of your doubt. He was almost getting convinced. He must be inside this. Then after a few minutes when he was standing outside Nahabat where Holy Mother used to stay, Sri Ramakrishna was coming from the pine grove. Oh, hello, why are you here? Then seeing Sri Ramakrishna, because he was convinced that Sri Ramakrishna must be inside. Sri Ramakrishna coming from outside, nothing of what he was thought of. He felt so ashamed, head down. Sri Ramakrishna understood. Instead of getting angry with his doubt, what he said, you have done the right thing. You should test your teacher at daytime and at night time. So you have done very right thing. I am very happy with the doubt you had and you had tested. Test the teacher like a money changer tests the coin, whether the coin is fake or not, forfeited or not. So like that you have to test the teacher. So happy. Swami Vivekananda also tested Sri Ramakrishna. He was happy with him too. So he was ready to give all the exams. He was a great teacher and pure person. Why will he be afraid? If one has a pure coin, 100% gold coin, so why will he be afraid to test to another, the one who tests gold, whether it is real gold or not? Only those are afraid who have the fake things, who have the fake character. Sri Ramakrishna was never afraid. He encouraged students to be tested. Once Sri Ramakrishna was going to a devotee's house and he asked Jogin to bring his towel and a cloth. When they were on the move, and Sri Ramakrishna, did you bring cloth and towel? He said, oh, I brought the towel but I forgot the cloth. But your hosts are very rich man, they will give you, if you need a cloth, they will give a new cloth to change. Sri Ramakrishna, what are you saying? I am going to a host. A good guest never become burden to the host. When the good guests go, the host feels joy. They never feel something they are lacking, something they are sad, something they are burdened. So go and bring the cloth. She sent him back. So that's what he teaches to all of us, that when we go to some people to meet, we should not be burdened in any way to them. So rather, they should feel happy and like to receive us. Once Sri Ramakrishna something was to be sent to Sri Ramakrishna from the temple, and that day it was not sent. Food from the offered food to Sri Ramakrishna's room, offered food in the temple. Sri Ramakrishna goes to the temple authority, to the cashier and other person, manager, and says, "Hello, why didn't you send the food to me today?" Jogin thought, what this man is, he eats very little but still has so much greed for the food. He eats very little, but still so egoistic that it has to be sent every day. What is this? So Sri Ramakrishna could understand the doubt of Yogananda. And he told, and the manager also said to him, see that it should be sent. He came to room and told Yogananda, you see, I asked them to send food, but whatever food is sent here is used for holy persons, those who come here, real devotees. And that the proprietor of the temple, owner of the temple, arranged this thing so that food is utilized good way, the prasad is utilized good way. That has to be kept. That tradition should go on. That will give the temple authority the merit of feeding good to the devotees of God. That was not for himself. That was for the good of the people who had arranged this system. So every act of Sri Ramakrishna was a teaching, was an act for the good of the people. Once Swami Yogananda went to buy an iron pan. And then he found he found Yogananda was soft and devoted, they were very taking the name of God, and they gave him the pan. He came home and found the pan was cracked in the middle. It was not good. So Sri Ramakrishna somehow heard this story, and when Yogananda came, he said, you went to buy something, that is not the way one should buy. Someone said, take this, it is good, and without tasting anything, you took that. People were the merchants. They are there not to do the act of piety. They are not the religious person. They are there to earn money. Why should you be cheated? Don't be a fool if you are a devotee. You are a devotee doesn't mean that you have to become a fool. Sadhu hobi to boka hobi kya? That he said. And he said, when you go to buy, see a thing in many shops, check its price, taste the thing nicely. You may take the name of God. And then, if you find anything free, get that also. Don't give that. Is there anything extra that you give? If I buy this, get that extra also. That is the way in the world it should be. So he taught so much practical, this person, Sri Ramakrishna teacher, you see. Always his mind is to soar in the spirit, world of the spirit. But when he did the things of the world, he did perfectly. These persons, these great teachers, whatever they did in life, whatever they did perfectly. Whether it is meditation, whether it is taking the name of God, whether it is singing, whether it is anything, teaching the students, or anything that they did perfectly. The perfection becomes their habit. Sometimes kindness becomes obstruction to spiritual practice. Once Yogananda was Sri Ramakrishna's room, and there one cockroach was found in Sri Ramakrishna's room. And Sri Ramakrishna said to Yogananda, catch this cockroach, take it out and kill that. So Yogananda was very soft-hearted, and he took that cockroach and he just let it go outside. Then when he came in, Sri Ramakrishna knew how soft-hearted Sri Yogananda was. And there was teaching in this thing, in this incident also. Then he asked Yogananda, Jogin, did you kill that cockroach? Jogin said, no sir, I didn't kill. Then what did you do? Just let it go. I asked you to kill that cockroach. If you do not listen to the teacher in this thing, you will not listen to in spiritual guidance also. When I say meditate in the morning, you will say, why morning? I should have meditated in the afternoon. You will start doing that. If you have your own thing, whatever teacher says, you have to follow that in toto. You should have killed the cockroach. You couldn't do good by not killing. So extra means when it becomes limitless. If mosquito bites, so if you don't kill mosquito and you don't even remove that, it becomes like mortification, it's impracticality. In the world, if you live, you have to be practical to survive. Himself, one Swami, Balaram was a great devotee of Krishna, great devotee of God. He had doubt whether he should kill mosquito or not. That he had doubt. So mosquitoes bite and they trouble and they infect the malarial germs. But with whether they are the living beings, whether it should be cruel to kill them. So he came to how to find this answer to this. He came to Sri Ramakrishna. Whether it is appropriate to kill mosquitoes. When he came, he found Sri Ramakrishna very active. He was searching somewhere beneath his bedstead. And he was killing something. And says, Balaram Basu, you say, oh Balaram, you have come, you see these bed bugs? There were bed bugs in the bed. They have come, grown somehow, and they are disturbing my meditation. When I sit, they just bite. And that's why I'm killing them. Whatever disturbs you in your meditation or spiritual practice, remove that obstacle. That was Sri Ramakrishna's teaching to the people. Again, Sri Ramakrishna asked Yogananda to go when he was very sick in 1885 and wanted to eat something called palo, one pudding called palo pudding. So Sri Ramakrishna go to Calcutta and buy that pudding. Yogananda thought that buying there is there may be adultery in that. Instead of that, I asked some devotees to cook that. So he came to Balaram Babu. They were very, very, very ardent devotees of Sri Ramakrishna. Sri Ramakrishna wants to eat this, can you just prepare? He said, definitely. They were very happy. They said, yes, we'll prepare. In the meantime, you eat lunch with us. So he started having lunch with them. It was late. When he returned back to Sri Ramakrishna, it was already afternoon. Very happy, he brought very nice palo made at home from his devotee, very pure devotee, and it is not from the shop, from the market, and he will be very happy. Sri Ramakrishna said, why so late? He said, I have gone to Balaram Babu, I made homemade palo, it's not the shops made by the shopkeeper, it must be pure. So Sri Ramakrishna said, I asked you to buy from that particular shop. I wanted to have that for lunch. Now it is already afternoon. I finished my lunch. And this they have brought, no doubt, with all the love and all the goodness, but they have been very rich. I cannot eat now. So he didn't eat that. So whatever he had said, it has to be done in that way. There was meaning in everything of what he said, but he didn't follow that. That was just he did that. How to see goodness in other people, how he taught. He asked Yogananda to go to Girish Ghosh and said, I need some candles. Can you bring from them? So when he went to Girish Ghosh was in usual state, drunken state. So he said, oh, Sri Ramakrishna wants candle. Why few? Take whole bunches, whole bundle you take him for him. And he started using abusive words to Sri Ramakrishna. In drunk, it was the alcohol that was speaking. So he started doing that. And but in meantime, and also bowed down towards Dakshineshwar and bowed down. Also uses abusive words. So it is a very peculiar thing for Yogananda to see. What type of man is this? He has never seen the devotee drunkard and using that language. He knew Girish Ghosh was a devotee. He comes and reports to Sri Ramakrishna that Girish was using very abusive language for you, but he was intermittently he was also bowing down to you, showing respect, and he gave this bundle of candle for you. Sri Ramakrishna said, you see how much his faith is, how much his devotion is, and he didn't talk about his abusive language at all. See, good thing of a person, not of a bad thing. And Girish Ghosh's love and faith in Sri Ramakrishna knew. That's how he guided the students. Sri Ramakrishna's way of teaching his students was like that. Swami Vivekananda says that a spiritual teacher has certain qualities. Shrotriyo, Abrijino, Akamahato, Yo, Brahmavittama. There should be 4 qualities of a spiritual teacher. One is he should be versed in the knowledge of the scriptures. Sri Ramakrishna had never read. How is Shrotriya? He knew the spirit of the scriptures. And he had experienced that. Teachers should be aware of the spirit of the scriptures. He may not quote the verses from the scriptures. Quoting verses doesn't make one holy and good teacher. There are some people who find they quote verses from Quran, verses from Gita, verses from the Psalms from Bible, passages from Bible. They are not definitely the best teachers. But who know the spirit of teacher, that's called Shrotriyo. Abrijino. They are not, they are free from sin, purity itself. The religious, spiritual teacher has to be very pure. Swami Vivekananda says, a teacher who teaches dynamics or chemistry may have any character, but one who imparts spiritual knowledge must be very pure. His life should be very pure. And the third quality is akamahato. He should be free from lust for anything. Lust for wealth, name and fame, or any worldly desire. The purity, free from lust, and who has understood the spirit of the scriptures, and who has experienced the knowledge of God, what he teaches. Brahma Vittama. These four qualities are mentioned by the scripture of the teacher, and Sri Ramakrishna fulfilled all four qualities, as are other great teachers of the world. Let me read from Swami Vivekananda. With the teacher, therefore, our relationship is the same as that between an ancestor and his descendant. Without faith, humility, submission and veneration in our hearts towards our religious teacher, there cannot be any growth of religion in us. And it is a significant fact that where this kind of relation between the teacher and the taught prevails, there alone gigantic spiritual men are growing. While in those countries which have neglected to keep up this kind of relation, the religious teacher has become a mere lecturer. A teacher expecting his $5 and the person taught expecting his brain to be filled with the teacher's words. And he is going his own way after this much has been done. Under such circumstances, spirituality becomes almost an unknown quantity. There is none to transmit it and none to have it transmitted to. Religion with such people becomes business. They think they can obtain it with their dollars. Would to God that religion could be obtained so easily, but unfortunately it cannot be. Religion, which is the highest knowledge and the highest wisdom, cannot be bought, nor can it be acquired from books. You may thrust your head into all the corners of the world. You may explore the Himalayas, the Alps, and the Caucasus. You may sound the bottom of the sea and pry into every nook of Tibet and the desert of Gobi. You will not find it anywhere until your heart is ready for receiving it and your teacher has come. And when that divinely appointed teacher comes, serve him with childlike confidence and simplicity. Freely open your heart to his influence and see in him God manifested. Those who come to seek truth with such a spirit of love and veneration, to them the Lord of truth reveals the most wonderful things regarding truth, goodness and beauty. Sri Ramakrishna had no classroom, he had no syllabus, he had no exams, there were no books prescribed for his teaching, for his education. He taught from the Spirit to another Spirit. And it was not he speaking. In fact, there was no ego in him. All inside him was Mother. Holy Mother, Divine Mother, took the charge of him and she spoke through Sri Ramakrishna. And it was like one candle burning another candle. The lighted candle making his student equally lighted, giving the same power, same intensity. That was the amazing style of teaching of Sri Ramakrishna. What he had, he imparted to his students. He made them attain, realize God. And that's Sri Ramakrishna's great power. Sarva dharma sthapakastvam sarva dharma swarupakaha acharyanam mahacharyo Ramakrishnayate namaha. He is born to establish the validity of all religions, that all religions are true. And he is the embodiment of all religions because he has practiced all religions. And he is the great Acharya, great teacher among the teachers. To that Sri Ramakrishna, I bow down, says Swami Sarada.